going. This is what you're interested in.
100% yes. get it. I get it. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yes.
Like this.
I'm like, because you can probably feed multiple types of sounds in, right? And they're working. I don't even know. You tell me.
Yes and no. So let me just explain a few basics, and then I'll explain the chain. These are what are called semi-modular. Both of these units. These are two different units. This is the Mother 32. This is a semi-modular analog synthesizer. And this is the DFAM, which is short for drummer from another mother, which is what does it say? Semi-modular
Analog percussion synthesizer.
Yes. So the semi-modular means that it starts with default wiring of all the pieces that you need to generate a sound, be able to manipulate the sound, pass it through to a speaker, right? All those elements, when you just get a synthesizer, like a Nord synthesizer, all of those things are already connected. But in modular, what all these patch bays are, nothing is connected. You just get all the pieces and then you wire it up to do it yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes, but what are the wires? Like,
They're the connectors. They say take the out from here and put it, it's just like a chain for a pedal. It's just the cord between the input and the output.
yes, I follow.
So, I'm just going to tweak it. Semi-modular, which means they have a built-in wiring. They work without any of this, and they each work individually. But I have them joined together so that I'm getting the combination, is what you're hearing. And I have them wired together in ways that I like to control the signal chain. So I know what all of these are doing and what
signal, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, the signal, right. So the origination is what's called an oscillator. You're all right with this playing while we're talking? All right. I'm just going to turn it down just a little bit. So this one has one oscillator. This one has two oscillators. So all together, I'm able to produce three different starts of a sound wave.
Okay, three. So you got three different starts of a sound wave.
Right.
Because you got two on one and one on the other.
Exactly.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Yeah,
That's how it starts.
One of these, it would only have one, the other only two, as opposed to three.
Exactly.
Together, they have
Exactly. And so
you're starting a signal when you do that. Is it like an oscillator?
Yeah, so this has triggers. So these buttons are triggers. Right now I have it running a sequence.
Okay.
So,
here.
right, which is what all the beats
That's
and loops
like
are.
built into this?
No, I programmed it.
Okay.
So I made the choices of like what notes of the scale, in what order, with what duration, whether to be accented. Like you have a lot of control to dial in the basic.
You demonstrated to me because I didn't know.
Well, I didn't program anything. All I did is modulate things. So I switched between
All these
programs.
different settings.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the sequence, but the sound goes from the oscillator.
Built
And-
into this already.
Yeah, that's well, you can get in modular, you can get a unit that is an oscillator.
So
So
when
that
oscillator helps
starts
you like
as-
produce a signal.
The oscillator is the sound generation. It's what produces the original sound wave. And you can create like a sine sound wave, a sawtooth sound wave, a pulse width, or a square. So they all make different kinds of sounds. So like right now, this is the triangle, right? The sawtooth. So it's rather smooth. If I throw it to the saw, just to be clear, that's the sound I'm talking about. Do you hear how it's like buzzier and like moved over to here?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah. Now you hear it's like it's because I'm putting a lot of modulation on the pulse width. Now you hear the modulation.
is that voice?
Yeah, it's also echoing though. Yeah.
This is fast.
So anyway, you generate a sound with an oscillator. That sound has an envelope, which means a way that the sound is instructed or crafted or engineered to begin and to end. Make sense?
Okay, yeah.
So you can start a sound immediately. You can start a sound gradually. So the attack. So if I give you a for example, I'm going to draw your attention to the percussion. So do you hear how it's like a fat arrival? Boom, boom. It's like thuddy. That's because I have the envelope as a negative. So it's like a reverse delay almost. It's coming at it with a thwot. But I'm going to pinch that up. And I'm going to make it more like a laser beam. Here, now it's a little fatter kick. Little science fiction, little Star Wars. So that's catching with the arrival of a note right in the. So you're listening for sweet spots like that. Because as I change that, you hear how that changed away from that sweet spot?
Wow. Yeah, with just that one modulation.
Yeah.
All these, like,
And then in addition to the amount of like pinch to the arrival of the sound,
tech.
you can, it's called attenuate. You can turn it up and have it have a big impact, or you can make it more subtle. So right now, this is on laser beams, but it's attenuated to 0. So go ahead and turn this knob slowly to the right.
Laser beams attenuated.
Right now, it's not receiving that. But as you turn it, go ahead and turn it gradually all the way to the right. So find the sweet spot. What do you like about it? Yeah, you can experience it all. And all of that is just pinching up the attack. Well, actually, it's changing the decay of the attack. That's a little laser beamy for me, if that's all right. But anyway,
That's awesome. I could literally listen to that all day long, or like not mess with that all day long. So many ways. Like I can think of so many use cases for it. Like
I just brought in tune. That has the strings.
That's incredible.
That's the ending.
End of demonstration. Dude, all snaps. That could be a class right there. That could be a, I mean, really, this is so useful. And I know that we didn't even scratch the tip of the iceberg, but it is absolutely stunning.
So anyway, the
delightful.
oscillator, you can modulate all the attack and decay of it. passes through a filter, which is what opens up all those frequencies, right? What you heard, and you pointed out. Remember that?
Yeah.
And so I had it all the way on a low pass filter. So it allows all the low frequencies up until where I define. So if I open that filter all the way, it gets all those high frequencies and all that brilliance and all that strings. But when I close that filter, I bring in the highs and I roll them back. And that's what this cutoff does. And you can modulate all kinds of things about that. How you know, just like a guitar pedal, how deep it is, the rate of it, you know, all those kinds of things. And then you pass it through an amplifier, and you can modulate the amplifier. So you know how with your guitar, sometimes you want to roll the volume and
Yeah, exactly.
right? You can modulate that. I can set up this throbbing LFO that you heard and let it swell the volume.
Oh, man.
And then it all overlays, and this is a sequence that produces the bass, and this is a switch. You know, I only use 2 oscillators for most of this. There was one point where I added the other one in and I remember you were like, "Whoa," because it got all like digital.
Well, it's just like, at some point, it's like obviously what fascinates me is like the degree to which we can understand all of those facets. All of those sort of variations and permutations of how the signal is being affected. But like, what you don't expect is sounds that, you know, this is totally foreign. So, you know, as far as like, so to the extent that I understood, obviously you had something not looping, but like something, a signal. I didn't have that phrasing. But to the extent that I understood that you were obviously manipulating some kind of audio signal that was fed up, but you're saying because you have 2 in 1, you have 3 different forms of the oscillating, like turning on the oscillator or something.
Yeah,
like
3 different ways to start a sound.
Yeah, a signal, a sound.
Either like at the end when I had that one note and I said this is the ending.
Yeah.
That wasn't playing the sequence. That was just a note with my sustain pedal held up.
You don't know anything in. Where it just comes from?
Yeah, you just turn it on and turn the volume on. Press a key. So this is an analog synthesizer. It literally generates voltage control. It generates an electric signal that oscillates at a rate that is in our audible hearing. So it literally is a little electronic.
Learn about those rates, because there might be rates that are outside of our human hearing.
Yes,
But
and that's why when it
also-
gets spaceshipy and it goes, radio, it can sweep beyond our auditory, but it also sweeps below. And in fact, the throbbing that I'm doing is just sending another signal. I can make that throbbing go to audio rate. I can make it throb fast enough that it actually has a pitch, like a vibrating string. And the frequency is what you use to tune it, just like a guitar string.
Okay, wow. Man, seriously, thank you so much for this. Like,
Yeah,
would you be offended? I don't want to take.
No, like I said, I'm gonna get.
If in the future I reach out to you,
Can I explain a little bit about my music?
Yes, I do have to get to this choir practice thing in like 45 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I'm
No.
gonna grab a bite to
I'm
eat.
walking out of here
but-
in 5 minutes. I'm just packing up and then we're leaving together. Okay.
Cool.
But give me 5 minutes to explain.
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And I know it's like uncouth because we're like beautifully in nature and stuff. But do you have internet on that?
On here?
The interwebs on
Yeah,
there?
I do.